Work out every day. Better yourself every day. Suffer. Go back to a spot that's not so comfortable for you. Just because you made it and you've arrived somewhere, and if that's your mentality, you're no longer a fucking mentor. Don't fucking mentor, motherfucker. If you're happy where you're at, take a few steps backwards and go back to where that one spot that made you. That spot that made me was that time on the couch and sitting with fucking chocolate milkshake, 297 pounds. I can't go back to 297, but I can go back to how that time felt, because that's when I was the hungriest. We lose the hunger and then we go into mentoring people. I'm mentoring you from a nice 72-degree temperature room. Everything is great. I'm making millions of dollars and people are mentoring people. That's great. What did you do today to get uncomfortable? What did you do today to earn that manhood? What did you do today to mentor my ass? What did you do today? I don't give a fuck what you did 20 years ago. If you're not doing it now, stop mentoring, motherfucker. Retire. And say, hey, young man, I don't know anymore. I'm now comfortable. You need to be in a spot that's hungry. It's a thin line, man. I walked it. When I invented the accountability mirror, I walked it hardcore, and you have to walk it, because we live in a world where you have to love yourself, and it's important to love yourself. I'm all about that. You gotta, but we also live in a world where if it helps me to help you, I help you. Some selfish love. So yeah, back to your question, the accountability mirror is something that you have to be so real and raw, and you can't talk to yourself in a nice way. But you can't get so bad in that accountability mirror where you get it twisted and you start putting yourself down all the time. You gotta call yourself for what you are, but you also gotta give credit where credit's due in the accountability mirror also. So when I did the accountability, I was like in high school when I did this shit, and I was a character. I was a liar, I was a character, I was a cheat. It took several years to get out of that, man. I didn't know, and I hate to put ignorance on something, but when you're trying to literally invent a man out of nothing, you have a whole bunch of shit to go through, man. And I had a whole bunch of shit to go through. It took a lot of years. I was the epitome of getting it done. I wasn't proud of how I got it done. I wanted to be proud of it. I wanted to earn. I wanted to earn how I got it done. Yeah. That was the thing, man. That's what bothered me. Back to the accountability mirror, you have to call yourself out for what you are. And at that time, I called myself out. But you also have to be careful for a lot of people getting this mentality of, we live in a world a lot of times now where people don't believe they're good enough ever. And they continuously talk about this, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm never gonna be good enough. If that's your accountability mirror, that's not how you do that. Call yourself out for who you are at that time. Be real with yourself, be honest. And then start to fix that and change. So the most important conversation is when you have yourself. You have to change that conversation. If you're a negative person and all you talk about is, I'm not good enough here. That person, that's not how that works. That accountability mirror has two sides to it. You call yourself out, and you also start to have these small victories. The small victories, don't have this big grandiose, like, I want to be a Navy SEAL. Trust me, man, don't do what I did. I had very limited time to do what I did. So my accountability mirror became huge and grandiose. It's too much for the brain to comprehend. The brain can comprehend, if I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, which I did, that's too much. You quit doing that. I quit 100 times during the process. Just fucking look at it. If your goal is 106 pounds, be happy when you lose a fucking pound. Progress is always about moving forward, not moving back, not staying stagnant, moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. I've been stretching out now for almost 6 years. I take all these steps back, but I see that I'm going forward. My body's trying to go forward. I've been patient and patient. I've been doing this for almost 6 years. I'm about to go back to Badwater 135. It's been since 2014 when I had to drop out for health issues. Could never get back to the start line. And guess what? Haven't shared this either. I went from running 205 miles in 39 hours to not being able to get out of bed. When I dropped out of Badwater, a couple months later, a few months later, I'm in my bed, not able to get out of my bed. The doctors couldn't figure anything out with me, nothing. I sat in the bed and I smiled. I didn't put this in the book. And I went through it all, and I said to myself, I'm gonna win Badwater. I couldn't even fucking walk. I couldn't get out of bed, 2014. And my mentality is, I'm gonna win fucking Badwater one day. And I swear to God, that's exactly what I thought. Versus laying in that fucking bed, thinking this is it. And I thought this was it. I thought that. How do you fucking get this sick, man? How the fuck, my body's shutting down. I'm all fucked up. What's going on? I've had 2 heart surgeries. What's wrong with my health? And I sat back after I calmed down, and I stepped back and I smiled. I'm in the bed, I said, you know what? This is it. You can win Badwater one day, brother.
Championship caliber people understand how to create momentum. They understand how to pull themselves out of the mud, out of the shit, and move themselves forward when they don't feel like. They understand that creating momentum is very simply being able to force yourself through some things that you don't want to do for a few days in a row. Sometimes it might be 2 or 3. Sometimes it might be 14 or 15 or 16 days. But once you get through that period of time, you have now cultivated a tremendous amount of momentum. And championship caliber people understand how to do this. They understand how to exercise their discipline to make sure that they force themselves through the first gauntlet, so to speak, that they're going to have to get their lives in motion. And so this is something that they all understand. And all the people on that level get it. Okay. They know how to take themselves from 0 or even negative momentum and literally creep their way and force positive momentum. Now, if you completed 75 hard, you understand what I'm talking about. One of the biggest lessons of the Live Hard program is that you understand that after a certain amount of days that you've created the momentum. The momentum didn't just come from the sky and land on you and bless you with all this great feeling. That's not what happens. What happens is we create it through our actions. They learn what to do when they get stuck in the mud, okay? And most people don't. Most people get stuck in the mud and they stay there year after year after year after year. Once in a while, maybe every 4 or 5 years, they get lucky and catch some momentum. And then they spend, the next 3 years figuring out how the fuck that happened. Well, it's very simple. You created it. You created it because you exercised just enough discipline to pull yourself out, get yourself going. And you're mistaking your actions to create it as some sort of gift from the universe, which it's not. All right. So this is something that champions all understand. They understand how to manufacture momentum. They understand to not fuck with their momentum once they've created it. They don't intentionally do things to pull themselves off. They value the momentum, so they work to maximize it. Okay? Most people, when they get some momentum, what they do is they celebrate. And I'm just going to use the idea of diet and fitness here because I think most people will understand that. What they do is they go X amount, 6 days in a row or 5 days in a row, and they say, well, I need a reward. Motherfucker, you're making the most fundamental mistake that ever be made in your life. You are killing your own momentum. You just worked 6 days to get your shit together, and now you're going to go out and jump right back into that life that you left 6 days ago that was making you miserable, which made you take action anyway. It makes no logical sense if you think about it. And champions think about this on a large scale, okay? It is the number one mistake that most people make is that when they have momentum, they sabotage it by thinking they need to reward themselves. Listen, motherfuckers, these people that live like you don't live, the people who aren't paying the price like you need to pay it, that's not the normal life. That's not what's going to bring you fulfillment. That's not what's going to bring you happiness. It hasn't so far, so why do you think it's going to? Why do you keep jumping back in the old fucking pond that's covered with moss and shit when you just discovered this clear blue sea that you get to swim in every motherfucking day?